welcome back to my cozy corner of the internet. I'm Mayastar, and this is the Mayastar Podcast. I teach energy healing courses online through Mayastar Academy, share spiritual guidance and mystical musings on the Maya Muses blog, and provide healing, ritual, and spellcasting services. As a starseeded shaman and professional witch, on the Mayastar Podcast, I release articles, discussions, and energy updates every week, covering energy healing, spiritual awakening, lightworkers, starseeds, magic, and New Age spirituality. This episode is being re-released with upgraded audio and new cover art to coincide with the launch of the new Mayastar Podcast YouTube channel. Please check it out and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of the new content coming soon. And welcome back to my cozy corner of the internet. I'm Mayastar, and today we have another unscripted video. In today's unscripted video, we're going to be talking about the Meridian Flush Empowerments course, the latest channeled meditation from me, and answering some of your questions about energy healing and spiritual awakening, as well as looking at a new tarot deck I've added to my collection this week. As usual, I come armed with notes, but without a script, so we'll be meandering around the topic and pursuing the scenic route to enlightenment. If this sounds interesting to you, stick around and spend the next half an hour with me as we explore these things together. If you enjoy this kind of content, please consider subscribing and share this page with your friends. Switch on the notifications so that you're updated every time I share a new video. I upload 3 times a week. The first video goes out Saturday, that's the unscripted video that you're seeing now. On Monday, an energy update video goes out that includes daily spiritual guidance with law of attraction affirmations for your week ahead. And on Wednesdays, a new meditation track goes live, and this week that one's going to be another Lemurian song, so I hope you'll enjoy that. I think I'll start off today's video with the new tarot deck that I've just purchased. It's not a new deck, it's been out for, I don't know, maybe 6 months or something now, but I've only recently purchased it and I love it. There are some quite negative reviews online because apparently in this edition some of the write-ups in the instruction book seem to be for other versions of the deck that didn't make it to the final print. So some of them are inaccurate and describe different scenes from the show that weren't actually used in the final product. But since I know the show so well and I'm not actually using the guidebook, I haven't run into any problems with it at all. In fact, I'm surprised by how much I love it. And some of the things that I really like about it are the colour scheme. It's very purple. It's got a lot of purple, and you might say it's quite cartoonish, but because of its limited palette, it looks like a decent anime from the late 90s or early 2000s, so I actually enjoy the style. And the first card that I've drawn from this deck was for the energy updates video that will be going out on Monday, and the energy for the dominant influence for that week is the Emperor, and here is the Emperor card from this brand new deck. I don't know if you can see that. I'm hopeful because the autofocus on the phone seems to be a lot better than on the webcam. So it's Buffy. Buffy is the Emperor. We should have guessed, shouldn't we? But yeah, Buffy's the Emperor. So I was quite pleased to see that card. And the Emperor energy is all about, well, for me, the emphasis is on strategy. That's what really differentiates the Emperor from the other archetypes. He's the strategist. He's always got a plan. And he won't take no for an answer because he's already worked through every possibility, every mistake that could be made, every unexpected consequence that could occur. He's already thought of it. There's nothing unexpected for the Emperor. And so that card really matches nicely with Buffy, I thought. And it's going to be a very productive week, I think, for a lot of people. One of the things that I think is important about the Emperor energy is that he epitomizes the energy of the four kings that are represented in the minor arcana. The four kings represent the different elements. So that's earth, air, fire and water, represented by pentacles, swords, cups and wands in the traditional tarot. Those suits have been slightly changed in this deck, but they do follow the traditional meanings of the cards. So if you know about tarot, if you've learnt the archetypes, then you could easily read this deck out of the box, even if you had no experience of the Buffy the Vampire Slayer series. But if you do know Buffy the Vampire Slayer, as I do, I'm afraid I know some episodes virtually word for word, but you know the show really well and you know the characters really well, then this is a fantastic deck because it allows you to draw from the stories that are in the show as well as from the traditional meanings. So that can really open up some new aspects to those archetypes. But also, I think this will be a great deck for meditation or for journaling projects because of the link with the stories and the characters that you may have been familiar with over a number of years. I mean, how long did the series must have run for at least 7 years because there were 7 seasons, weren't there? So, you know, it went on for a long time, and during that 7-year period, people grew up, they changed, they related differently to the characters represented. They started to explore those characters within themselves, perhaps. Some of the experiences that Buffy has in some of the later seasons are really quite profound, and so I really think this is a great deck, especially if you know the show, but even if you don't. And I think this is going to be my favourite autumnal deck, perhaps even winter, but definitely autumn, because it's the most Halloween-y deck that I've got. I haven't bought a specific Halloween deck. Usually during the darker time of the year, I reach for more natural decks like the Wild Unknown, the Brady Tarot, Guardian of the Night Tarot, sort of darker but nature themed. So this is going to be something different, very different, and I can't wait. So what have I got here? The Hierophant. It's Giles. Giles, the librarian, who obviously knows everything and is always dispensing wisdom to Buffy. Oh, yeah, this is when I said that there were some profound experiences for Buffy, that here's one. This is the Three of Swords, called the Three of Scythes in this deck. It looks very much like the traditional card, except that you've got Buffy when she finds her mum has died whilst taking a nap on the sofa after brain surgery. It was a bit of a heavy episode, it was a very heavy episode, but they handled it really well and it was interesting to watch. It was quite dark, but these are the experiences people have in life, and that epitomizes the Three of Swords really well. So if you know tarot and you know Buffy, you're going to get a lot more from that card than if you only knew one or the other. What's this one? King of Stakes. You've got Xander. When they were on that bus trying to escape the apocalypse, and Xander says the words, "We've got company," and they brought a crusade. Yeah. See, I told you, I'm memorised many of these episodes, so when I look at this card now, I'm always going to think that we've got company and they brought a crusade. King of Wands. Sounds like the King of Wands, something the King of Wands would say. But yeah, there you go. I won't go on and on about it. I don't do tarot reviews or anything like that, but I wanted to talk about that deck because I was so pleased with it. And because I used it just now for the energy update that will be going out on Monday. So if you're interested in hearing how the first reading came out, go and check that out. Go and set up a reminder. It will already be on the YouTube channel with the premiere set up, and it will go live on Monday at 6 o'clock UK time. So there you go. First update out of the way. Got a new tarot deck. And our next update is the new special offer that's just started today and will be running for the next 7 days, is for the Meridian Flush Empowerments course. Now, this is an energy healing modality that anybody can use. It doesn't use symbols or anything like that. It's not complicated. And it increases the flow of life force energy throughout your system, through the chakras and the meridians of your body, to clear away negative energy and dissolve energy blocks or any areas of stagnation that are restricting the harmonious flow through your system. And there are 6 attunements for this modality. And they are all sent using the Orb of Life method, which means you receive them in the comfort of your own home, at your own time, and without needing to make an appointment or anything like that. And the higher attunements for that system can help you to balance the yin and yang energy within your energy field as well. So it's a great system to work with for your self-healing. You can use it for sending healing to others and for in-person healing treatments, but I've actually used this one most for self-healing because it's a very simple system. It's just one that lends itself to self-care rituals for me. And as always, the latest meditation track is inspired by working with this energy. But I felt very connected to the Lemurian currents and was able to bring through a new light language mantra from the goddess Amara, the Lemurian Great Mother Goddess. And that can be used while working with the Meridian Flush Empowerments, but also could be used with any other energy healing system or to enhance your spiritual practice, whatever you're doing. But the focus for this meditation is definitely on healing, and I'm going to be calling it a Lemurian healing song or something like that, so look out for that one. By the time you're seeing this video, it will already have been released through all the music apps. So you can purchase it from Amazon or iTunes, or go to the Lives tab on the Mayastar YouTube channel to listen to it. I do recommend listening to those because the sound quality is slightly better on the Releases tab compared to the video format. You may not notice that. I can only notice it with certain types of headphones, but definitely check it out and see if it vibes with you. As usual, I'll be doing some different mixes with it, so there'll be versions with different ambient sounds in the background, and you may want to try out the different sounds and see what vibes best with you. I think with the Lemurian energy, often the ocean waves sound is the more popular, but the thunder drum mixes seem to be extremely popular. Those ones are only available on the releases tab. I haven't been streaming them. They don't come out in a video format because the way the sound can be degraded by the lower bit rate can just make it not sound right, or not sound right to me anyway. So I'm not streaming those ambient versions. The ambient versions are available on your music app. So yeah, if you want to find the latest one, look for the Lemurian healing song, and I hope you enjoy it. And that brings us on to the Q&A section of this video. And I have a few questions this week. And the first one is from somebody who commented on one of the live streams that they had been doing their homework while listening to it. And I received an email from them asking if there were any courses that would be helpful for them to increase their focus and memory while they're studying. And although there isn't a specific course that's intended to help you to focus, there are a few options that I would consider using for that purpose. For example, the Attraction Reiki course, which is usually used for manifesting positive changes and drawing in abundance and prosperity, good health, love, happiness, all the good vibes. I think that would be a good system to use for enhancing your focus. It's just that kind of energy. I think Attraction Reiki is good for using when you are visualizing your goals and focusing your intentions. So it does increase your focus in that regard, but also because you're specifically working towards a goal with your studies, I think it would be helpful to use a system like Attraction Reiki. I would also say that the Center of Stillness activation would be a good option too. The Center of Stillness is a way to shut out outside distractions and even inside distractions. It's a way of helping you to achieve a more meditative state, but a decent meditative state is often optimal for focus as well, because in that state of consciousness you're more able to fix your attention on one thing without becoming distracted by what's going on around you and the other thoughts that come up. So I think the Center of Stillness would be a good way to increase your focus if you use it regularly and develop the technique so that you can easily use that while you're in the middle of your studies. I think it would be a good option. I hope that's helped. The next question is, do I have any courses that can help you to connect with tree energy? And yes, I do. It's the Celtic Reiki course, which works with the Ogham symbols, or Ogham, depending how you want to pronounce it. Ogham or Ogham, there isn't a right way. And these are symbols sort of like the Norse runes, except that each of these Celtic runes connects you with a different tree, and you can then use these associations and correspondences for bringing those energies into your life for healing, your spiritual development, taking on some of the energies and properties of different trees, for example, or you can use them for divination by carving them into little sticks, or maybe just drawing them on cards. But that's an excellent course if you want to connect with tree energy in general, and it's a system that you'll see reflected in other places as well. So if you find that the course really piques your interest, it's something that you would be able to study further, because it's a comprehensive system and it is one that other people use, similar to the ancient Norse runes, which I also teach through the Rune Valder course. There are also systems like the Magical Lightworker program and Magical Shaman Lightworker that I would recommend if you are interested in connecting with tree energy, connecting with nature spirits and connecting with the earth guardians. But Celtic Reiki is the one that you'll find that speaks to your interests the most, because it is all about tree energy. And as with any courses that I mention in these videos, you can find the Celtic Reiki course on the Mayastar website at mayastar.net. If you go to the top of the page, there's a complete course list where you can, or it might be listed as A to Z courses on the mobile version, but you can access a list of all of the courses that I teach. There's over 100 courses that you can purchase, and they are also separated into categories to make navigating those courses a bit easier if you have a subject that you'd like to start with, such as Reiki, Starseed energy, Lemurian and oceanic energies, that sort of thing. You can break it down by category when you're exploring the options. And our final question for today is from somebody who's working with the Elemental Pentagram and Magic Circle Empowerments course. And this is a course that would also work well for somebody who was working with Celtic Reiki, funnily enough, because you're connecting with the 4 elements. Well, the 5 elements, the 4 elements of earth, air, fire and water, plus the element of spirit, which is reflected in all of them. And their question is, can I still use the elemental pentagram system even when I don't know which way is north? And the reason they're asking that question is, traditionally, to invoke a magic circle and then invoke the elemental energies into it, you start by facing north and then start invoking the energies from the element of air in the east. But no, you don't have to. You could start creating your circle anywhere. I think it helps if you know which direction is north. It's just a way of focusing your intentions. But even if you don't believe that there's any special reason to face north when you start this ritual, and for me there would be, because traditionally the ancient gods come from that direction, so that's the direction I would be looking in. But if you may not share that belief, and in which case it wouldn't matter so much to you which direction you were facing. The only thing I would say though is, if you do get into the habit of just casting a circle and mixing up which direction you're facing, you won't build up some of the associations that other people do. For example, because I would always face east to invoke the element of air, I would also be thinking of the rising sun and early morning, because that's the direction the sun rises in. And when I'm facing west and invoking the element of water, I would always think of the setting sun, because that's the direction it sets in. And those correspondences build up over time, but they become reinforced because that's a ritual that I've performed frequently and in many locations. And so for me, I would like to know which direction is north. In fact, even if I'm just going to sleep, I prefer to know which direction is north. Just because, probably because I do magic actually, but just because I just like to know which direction is north. But the good news is, it's not that difficult to find out which direction is north. There are compass apps on mobile phones and things, aren't there? And well, I mean, there are actually compasses, so and they're not expensive, but you could simply look at the direction that the sun sets in. I think that it would be worth making the effort to discover which way is north when using the elemental pentagram. You don't have to. It may work for you to do it the other way, but I feel like you would be missing something. And the thing is as well, you can't completely discount the idea that there might be some sort of magnetic, energetic properties going on. You know, the magnetic North Pole, it makes a bit of sense that you would want to face that direction to start with. It might have an effect that's beyond those that I've discussed in this video. So I'd make the extra effort, but, you know, it's your spiritual practice and you get out what you put in. So if you want to do it without following the instructions, well, really, you're just doing your own thing then. But, you know, that's perfectly valid, and that might be the better way for you to do things, is to, rather than learn a traditional technique that's worked for a very long time for very many people, it might not work for you, and it might be better for you to do your own thing. So experiment and see what works best. Something else has just occurred to me. This relates to the previous question about the best options for those who want to connect with tree energy. I would also say that the Rune Valda course would be a good option for that. If you think about it, not only were the runes traditionally carved into wood, but they are also supposed to have been delivered to humans through Odin when he made a sacrifice of himself by hanging from the Tree of Life, or Yggdrasil as we call it, where he gained the knowledge of the runes. So it may be something that you want to consider as well. Connecting with the runes is something that might align you with that tree energy a little bit. And the name Yggdrasil means horse of Ygg, which is another name for Odin. And so it sort of denotes the idea that the world tree is a vehicle by which you could ascend to higher levels of consciousness and bring information back. So the symbol of the tree in Norse tradition is very important. And although it's not a specific type of tree, which is more what I think you were getting at, learning about different types of trees and different tree energies, but it might be something that you want to consider. Also, there's the Yggdrasil Intensive, which is a magical intensive that I run through Maya Magical. The link will be in the description. And that's a series of 24 energy transmissions through a shamanic ritual that I perform on behalf of clients that want to connect with the runes. And sometimes people choose this option if they're creating their own rune set, so that they can receive the transmissions as they create each rune. But it can also be used as a healing intensive, or just to reconnect with the runes if you haven't worked with them for a while. So that's another option that also vibes with tree energy, but it just wasn't quite in the way that I thought you were asking about. So that's why this is an afterthought, a PS to the original answer. But yes, I think that might be something for you to look into as well. And looking at my notes, that brings us neatly to the end of this video. That's everything I wanted to discuss. If you had any questions resulting from today's discussion, please leave them in the comments or email them to me through the website, and I'll be sure to consider them for future episodes. And if you've got any questions that are on completely different topics, suggest them. I'm open to suggestions. And I'd like to thank you for spending your time with me today. I hope it's been enjoyable, and I hope you've learned something too. I hope you've had a good week, and I hope you're about to have another one. And I hope you'll come back here in a week's time for some more mystical meanderings with me. But in the meantime, I wish you peace, prosperity, and progress in all you do. With blessings.